Hi, and welcome to the new series which is called the Story to Satori Personal Transformation Series. And why did I plan this? The reason being, uh, we all love to change, we love to become better versions. And then I thought, why not now when we are all going through a current situation like the coronavirus, and there is a lot of change in the consciousness as it is, and then people are thinking about new opportunities and people are thinking about creating something new and looking out for opportunities. So all this, doesn't it start with somewhere with you? So I thought everything has to start with you, and because it's you, I said the personal transformation journey is so exciting because everybody loves to have that kind of a journey, and this is the right time to have that, to start that. And let's start the personal transformation series with, there will be a lot of videos, there will be some assignments that I'll give you, and I'll share some material with you, and maybe some I'll share some stories, and there'll be interactions, there'll be more conversations happening, and that's how we're going to go on this journey. So let me start with the first important foundation, because everything starts with laying the foundation. So I want to lay the foundation today with the first thing that one needs on this journey of personal transformation, and that is a solid foundation and solid self-esteem. And I'm going to talk about self-esteem today. Now, why is self-esteem so important for you to transform yourself? And that's a very simple question that anyone can ask, and definitely will ask. So my answer to that is, self-esteem is not something like you have a lot of self-ego and then you consider yourself something greater than everybody else, or you have a very high esteem of yourself. No. In fact, that makes you know your own worth. Your self-esteem is nothing but your self-worth. And when you know your own worth, you become very grounded, it makes you humble. But at the same time, there is a process to know your self-esteem. And most of us, in fact, we want to know that self-esteem, and then we end up getting validations from others. We want validation from other people, asking them, how do I look, or how was my speech, or how did I come across in that interaction, or how am I looking? So many things, we have these kinds of doubts about ourselves. So that is natural, but then at the same time, isn't it really it becoming that we have a good self-esteem about ourselves? And what is exactly self-esteem? It starts with every person having experiences in life, and that gives them a perspective about who they are, because in every interaction, in every conversation or every experience, we try to assess ourselves in comparison with other things or other people, or the situation people handled, the way they handled and how we handled, or something. There is some kind of a parameters on which we judge ourselves. But at the same time, there is something where we have a false concept of ourselves. So let me give you an example. For example, if you have a concept about yourself that I have some experience which has given me a feeling that I am not good at that work, or I'm not good in maths, or I'm not good in the languages, or I'm not good in public speaking, or I'm not good well dressed on particular occasions. People give you some kind of a remark, or they tell you something about your dress, and then you suddenly feel, oh, this has actually not gone well with the occasion, and then you feel, oh, there is something wrong with me. So you associate somebody's comment, or somebody's remark, or somebody's feedback, as if there is something wrong about you and not about the thing that they're talking about. This is what is a concept that has actually, it's sitting in your mind for a long time, and you have accepted it as if that is true. But now is the time for you to just kind of try to bifurcate these things, and what is it that you feel you have an experience and you became aware of certain things. What was your self-learning, and how do you give yourself that self-worth? What do you treat yourself as in comparison with what others have said or feel about you? So this is a very, very important, we need to make touch base, and we have to understand that this is so important to bifurcate the concepts that you have about yourself and the real awareness that you have created about your own self-worth. So let me make it much more clearer by giving you another example, that if anybody or a person has got this feeling that the person is not good in music, and this person has carried on this concept in his head her head for a long time, and then there comes a time when he suddenly starts learning music for some reason, and then she discovers that she is not that bad. So the myth about she not being good in music gets busted, and then she realizes that anything that a person tries to learn or tries to discover the reality, and then they see that this is not true about them. So it just goes in the similar pattern with everything, right from looking good or feeling good, or coming across as a good person or a positive person, or impacting others, or being good in skill sets, or being good in any kind of it could be your behavioral, or it could be your emotional or mental makeup. So if self-esteem is something that is dependent on yourself, then where is this question of you all the time getting validated from others? So it's so important now for you to turn around that whole concept and understand that you need not now go and ask for validation. In fact, it is you who need to get to the root level and understand that you have to have your own self-esteem. So, and this grows slowly. It grows from one notch to another in a way that you start feeling more confident about yourself, because you have started giving some worth to your own self, the way you are, the way you know things or you do not know things, and you become more open to learning, because when you know that you don't have a skill set, but it is possible to learn that, so naturally you will start feeling it's okay if I don't know, there's nothing wrong in that, but I can always learn maths, I can always get tutored, I can get trained, and I can learn maths or music. So you become good at that skill set or that subject. And similarly, if you are having a few things about your looks or your self-image, and that can be rectified as well, because when you start looking at yourself in the mirror and start talking to yourself in a very different way, positively, that you are good looking the way you are, and you start actually giving yourself more and more worth, that you feel you're worthy of your own self-love, and you start loving yourself exactly the way you are, and with the same amount of height or weight, whatever is bothering you. And in that moment, what happens is your whole perspective about your own self-worth changes, and you start becoming now really accepting, more grounded, and more confident. So this was what I wanted to start with for the personal transformation, because every journey begins with that one first step. And the first step, I feel, is one needs to know where one is. And when one knows where one is, they can take that step to the next level. So this is something, I think self-esteem is the first step, because when we know what is our self-esteem or our self-worth, then we can take that journey of the second step and the third step and the fourth step, and then get personally, we can transform ourselves personally, and we can actually become a better and better version of ourselves. So stay tuned for more in the journey of story to Satori self transformation. See you. Thank you.